10K a month is, quite nearly at six figures for them.
Worked with many mentors, and I'm not saying any of them are bad. Everyone's been really good. Your education is purely serviced accommodation.
What's the game plan?
To continue scaling, we managed to get a £1.5 million.
What was the business like before we started working together? What was the kind of biggest challenges you were facing?
People are going to come into your training, and there's a lot to take in. As valuable as how hard you work.
Outside of business, what's life looking like now?
It's been a real switch in the mindset of before working with you to now. The focus has dialed in a lot more.
What kind of profit looking like bottom line?
90 grand overall.
Tom and Freddie, what do you guys do?
So we run a short-term let management business. We've got currently over 30 properties. And we're also in rent-to-rent as well. So we have our own rent-to-rents, we help other people get rent-to-rents, and we've got our Airbnb management business.
Nice, insane. And can you give us a brief overview of your background prior to the rent and management business? What were you both doing? Where were you at? Or was this just this forever?
Yeah, so for me, I was at uni. So I was at uni and working as a bartender. Realised it wasn't really for me, that I wanted to kind of do my own thing and cultivate my own life and future. So started to look at YouTube videos on property. Decided to drop out of uni halfway through and just full send it, went for it. Ended up going down the route of doing loads of different courses, some good, some bad, and just took relentless action. And yeah, it took a lot of work to get to where we are today, but through that ended up meeting Freddie. And yeah, Freddie will tell his story on what he was doing before as well.
Nice.
Yeah, so with me, I was a engineer and apprentice. I actually quit my apprenticeship to pursue this full time. But amongst that, I was always getting in trouble. Since a kid, I was always out on the streets just getting into shit. Always had that entrepreneurial side of me, so I set up a studio when I was about 18, a music studio, maybe a bit old, maybe 20. And yeah, I pivoted from my apprenticeship into rent-to-rent, which allowed me to then quit.
Nice, sick. And where are you? Walk me through the numbers. What kind of success have you seen? Where you're currently at? So you got 30 properties. What does that look like in terms of? Because I know you do sourcing, you do rent-to-rent, you have management. What's bringing in what revenue? What kind of profit looking like bottom line?
So for this month, we are looking at about, I'd say 90 grand overall at the moment. I'm trying to make that push for that 6-figure month. So yeah, obviously we're in July right now. The Airbnbs are booming. We've still got a few units that we've onboarded that we're still waiting to go on board, which are potentially going to even double what we're taking in at the moment. So that's what we're looking at the minute. In terms of bottom line, our new baseline is always minimum 10K. That's a standard for us each month now, which is quite crazy to say.
Yeah, 100%. How's it feel to say that? Both you.
Yeah, it's a bit mental. You don't really think about it at the time, but then you take a step back and realise we're in the position that we wanted to be in a long time ago, but always trying to work towards the next step.
Yeah, 100%. And specifically working with myself, what was the business like before we started working together? What was the kind of biggest challenges you were facing, and how do we go about solving them, if we solve them, hopefully?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the business before, it was messy. We had systemized, we had staff, but we were still doing quite a lot of the day-to-day work. And in terms of using other things such as automations, I think that it was just not streamlined at all. And there was a lot of manual labor involved. Obviously, since working with yourself, we've introduced certain automations, certain new training for the team, focusing on getting ourselves out of those day-to-day tasks and focusing on higher income-generating tasks such as scaling the business, and even start thinking about acquiring other Airbnb management businesses as well. So it's been a real switch in the mindset of, before working with you to now. The focus has dialed in a lot more. We're now more streamlined, and overall it's just a lot smoother, I'd say.
Anything to add, Freddie?
Yeah, just like Tom said, it's just a lot smoother. I think if people are going to come into your training, like Dan, there's a lot to take in, and I feel like it's as valuable as how hard you work. So the harder you work to get through the list, the more you can add onto your list to improve. And I think because me and Tom we're working in a partnership, how we strategized our train or our understanding from you is we was like, okay, I'm gonna be responsible for this, you're responsible for that, which meant we could get through a lot more, a lot quicker. And then obviously the more you can get through, the more valuable it is, the more it's going to transform the business. I feel like the main thing what for us is because we've been able to see someone who's a couple of years ahead of us, now we can model our business a couple of years ahead rather than just shooting an arrow down a corridor in the dark. Now we can actually kind of see light at the end of the tunnel to what we're walking towards.
Yeah, I get you. And in terms of like outside of business, like what's life looking like now? Like, how's it changed since you had your jobs, etc., and or your previous studio? What's life like now? Have you ever reflected on that?
I mean, we're definitely out of the business, but you know yourself, Dan, you can't when we're a couple of years in, we're not in the position to chill. So because we've stopped operations, now we need to start something else. So we're still grafting just as hard, but purely out of choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like we're using advertising, paid advertising. We've had some very good leads from that. And I just feel like we're more in clarity with ourselves and what we want to do. Tom said as well, I was kind of losing love for what we was doing before we saw you. And I think after our first meeting, I kind of had a little bit of a spark and a little bit of an oomph of, okay, let's give this a go again. Let's get it going again. Kind of motivation.
It's like, yeah. And like, what was on the back of that? What's the favorite part of like working myself? What was the best part in particular?
I think it's because one is very relatable because we're young, you can teach in a way where we can understand. And two, I feel like it was just the vibe. It was very comfortable. Like you say, oh, like lads, if you got anything to ask it. And when you're there, when you was doing the days in person, there was no like out of bounds questions. It was very transparent with what you've got.
100%. And with Tom?
Yeah, I think because it's focused on business, it's not just a case of you saying, oh, lads, I can show you how to make 10K a month. It's not like that. It's like, I'm going to show you how to build a real business. And that's what I like because we can then transfer those skills into different businesses as well. So just really valuable skills moving forward.
100%. So what does the next 12 months look like for the lads? What's the game plan?
Game plan is to continue scaling. As I mentioned before, we've taken on some really exciting properties. So we've taken our first steps into the luxury market. We managed to get a £1.5 million barn on board. So that's a step into a new target market, which is really exciting. On top of that as well, we're still doing Facebook ads. We're having really good conversations and got a call booked with a management company next week. So, again, still, like we mentioned before, still looking to buy management companies, still looking to scale ruthlessly. That's, the 12 months, next 12 months is going to be massive for sure.
Nice. And like for anyone looking to, ultimately, lads, you're doing some great things already, right? Like 10K a month is, quite nearly at 6 figures for the month in terms of having management client revenue and stuff like that. What for anyone looking to like get started, what's that one thing they should do? Like when they're at the start that maybe you should have done that you didn't do early enough?
There's two things to this. One of them is obviously, which is obvious, is to get educated. It's just going to make life a lot easier, especially if you're going to do Airbnb. It makes sense. You've got a SA community, But I would say other than education, a lot of what I see, people just need to go out there, and I'm going to say it straight, just fucking do it. Just go out there and just fucking do it. Because no education is going to get you a deal. No education is going to build that spreadsheet, what your VAs can read, you know, and I feel like a lot of people kind of want to have their hand held in situations where really they shouldn't have their hand held, you know, and sometimes you do need to kind of throw yourself in the deep end to drown a little bit. But yeah, that's my two things.
Yeah. Tom, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, spot on what Freddie said. Get educated, take action, and I think get yourselves around people who are doing the same thing. So whether that's networking events or whether it's a community, just get yourself around people and make sure that you've got similar people singing to the same hymn sheet rather than people bringing you down, maybe at work or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. And I think you've touched on this already, but in terms of someone looking to work with myself or join the academy or join the community, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I think it's a really valuable skill for them, 100%, especially if they're looking to expand from this being a side hustle to a professional company. Then yeah, no doubt, I think it's all for them, 100%. I mean, we've worked with many mentors, and I'm not saying any of them are bad. Everyone's been really good, but everyone's all specific to what they educate you in, you know, and your education is purely service accommodation and business foundations to do that. And for what we needed, it's perfect. And anyone in this space, it would be perfect for them.
Yeah, nice. Appreciate it. And then Tom, anything else to add?
Yeah, if you're looking to take it serious and you actually want to create the life of your dreams, well, you've got to take that route. And, you know, it might be a little bit scary. It might seem like a risk, but being on the other side of it, it's just so worth it.
Yeah. Well, boys, I want to pat you on the back because you've been fucking sick. So you're doing like mad things. I think like during one of these calls, I don't think people appreciate. Like, I mean, I struggle to reflect as well, but you got to realize like you have the freedom to like. Obviously, you work loads anyway, but like I work loads as well. You know, it's all about that choice of like you literally have the freedom, and we take it for granted. Like you got to think like you don't have to ask anyone for time off work. Like you can actually do what you want when you want to. It's just you choose to work because you want bigger things in life. But yeah, pat yourselves on the back, lads. 10k a month already done. So, you know, but like, let's get to 20, 30, 50k a month and then we can jump on another call after that.